Alrighty, just so everyone's aware, we're still working on the issue, but at least it's showing up behind, and it is not anymore. Alright, well, we're going to go ahead and roll forward and call this meeting to order at 6:42 p.m. If you could stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Craig, I'm just going to keep trying to reconnect it as we go. So.
Okay. We'll go ahead and get started with roll call while troubleshooting.
Dennis Anderson.
Here.
Josh Westrich. Jason Lawson.
Here.
Sarah Ford. Here. Craig Arthur.
Here.
Andrew McGee.
Here.
Alrighty, we'll go ahead and transition on to the approval of the agenda. Real quick before we entertain motions on that, I'd like to mention that for the agenda items tonight, for the public request to speak, we are limited to 20-minute time. So all I ask is that you be aware of everyone's time. And we did rough math, and it's looking like we'll have to be limited to 2 minutes per petitioner, or per person that would like to come up and speak. So understanding that, if one item is discussed, like the traffic study, and someone comes up and discusses that, if we don't keep having the same feedback over and over, so we can give more time to other concerns. Lastly, I just want to make a friendly reminder that there's when you're asked to come up and speak, we'll call you up since you filled out the form. If we ask any questions or the petitioner asks any questions, we kindly ask you come up to the podium and address everyone that way, and no outbursts. So on that note,
we also ask you to state your name and your address when you walk up.
Good call.
First thing.
Thank you,
so
Sarah.
Just your name and your address, and then you'll have 2 minutes to speak.
Perfect.
And I'm timing it. So.
Alrighty, we'll go ahead and make a motion for the approval of the meeting minutes for October 8th, 2018.
So moved.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, meeting minutes for October 8th of 2018 have been adopted. Are there any public requests to speak outside of the agenda items? So for the agenda, none of the agenda items are listed here. All right, hearing none. All right, well, we'll go ahead. It looks like we don't have any presentations or unfinished business. Is that correct, Brittany?
Correct.
All righty, we'll go ahead and transition on to new business. Actually, before we transition into that, I'd like to go ahead and make a motion to combine docket items, or agenda items A and B, and then C and D.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, sorry about that hiccup there. So we'll go ahead and transition to docket PC 18039 Bell Tire Concept Plan and 040 Development Plan. So if the petitioner would like to come up and speak.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Angela Smith. I'm here representing the petitioner, Chris Enright. I'm with Wolpert, who's the civil engineer for the project. Our address is 333 North Alabama Street, Suite 200 in Indianapolis, Indiana.
All right, good evening, Angela.
Good evening. At this time, do I?
Yeah, if you want to make your
presentation?
presentation, I know we don't have the screens working, but if you could, typically the petitioner will kind of go over both the concept and development plan, and then we'll transition on to the staff comments.
Okay. In a nutshell, the Bell Tire development is proposed to go on Perryworth Road, and it's a tire retail store. And I do have a narrative that Chris prepared for me. If you wouldn't mind if I read that, that might help.
Absolutely.
Get described. Bell Tire is a more than Bell Tire is a more than 90-year-old company privately owned by the Barnes family, headquartered in Allen Park, Michigan. The company was started by Mr. Sam Ways in 1922, who named the business after his wife, Bell. The Ways family eventually partnered with the Barnes family, who purchased the interest in the early 60s and is now in the third generation of ownership. Currently, Bell employs more than 2,000 people and has just under 150 locations in Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana. Bell Tire is the contract purchaser of a portion of land located within the marketplace at Anson on Perryworth Road. The marketing research team at Bell identified Whitestown early in the property procurement process, specifically the marketplace at Whitestown and Anson development, due to existing and proposed national retailers at this location, as well as the explosive growth of quality developments. We are neighbors with just about every business in the development at other locations throughout Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana. Bell's most active developer partner is Meyer, where Bell has 20 existing outlot sites and several in the planning phases, and have been described as Meyer's most important outlot developer in several correspondences. In anticipation of the increased volume of business at this location, we are proposing the first major upgrade of the prototype plan in 15 years. Every Bell Tire store designed and constructed in the past 25 years has featured 10 service bays in 2 different iterations. In Whitestown, we are proposing our first 14-bay store, where the 4 additional service bays will provide space for occasional training of mechanical staff, as well as to accommodate the larger anticipated volume of business. This design represents a 60% increase in development investment. Currently, the property is zoned Business District, BD, and is flanked by vacant property on either side, a detention pond to the rear, and the interstate freeway at the front. Our proposed use is allowable in this district. All utilities are available to our site, and the appropriate connections have been proposed. Boone County has approved our stormwater and drainage proposal. The exterior of the facility is comprised of brick veneer, cast stone detailing, ephes cornice, clear glazing, and aluminum frame at the showroom. Aluminum frame at the remaining inventory areas, and wall washing feature lighting at the perimeter of the building. All landscape lighting and site elements meet or exceed Whitestown standards. 1 HVAC rooftop unit is proposed and will be obscured by parapet walls and the proposed entry tower. All other roof elements, such as plumbing vents, exhaust fans, and the like, will be obscured by the parapet walls at the rear portion of the building. The interior of the facility is completely suppressed with a NIFTA-approved sprinkler system. Bell sells and installs vehicle tires, various automotive parts, and offers minor automotive repairs such as brakes, alignments, batteries, shocks, and struts, and oil changes. No major engine, transmission repair, or body work is conducted in the facility. All repair and installation work will take place inside the building, and though rare, if vehicles are left overnight, they are stored inside. All scrap tires are stored in a specifically designated area inside the facility and are picked up by Bell vehicles on a regular basis. All floor drains in the service area are connected to a water oil separator to prevent any unapproved chemicals from reaching the sanitary system. No outdoor displays are used. Sales staff and porters handle all customer vehicles for service. Customers are discouraged from entering the service area. Since the service doors are clear glass, staff will not use vehicle horns to alert staff to open doors. There are no outdoor annunciators, PA systems, or other noxious noise sources. Bell Tire has created a significant in-house property management group that is responsible for all maintenance, repair, and care of the property and building after construction. Should the city require to contact Bell for any reason, staff at headquarters is available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Hours of operation in all stores is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday and Thursday, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., closed on Sunday. And this location anticipates as many as 30 employees on staff in various capabilities.
Wonderful. Thank you.
So if you have any questions.
Yeah, I think we'll move on to the staff report, and
Okay.
then we'll hear if there's any comments either for or against, and then
Okay.
you can come back up and address any of those comments or concerns.
Thank you.
All righty, we'll go ahead and move on to the staff report.
Sorry.
No worries. Take your time.
Staff recommends that the Plan Commission consider that Belle Tire meets the zoning requirements for this location within the Anson PUD. However, it is not surrounded by like uses and does not conform with the currently approved development in this area of the PUD. Although it is not a requirement, staff recommends that the Plan Commission take into consideration such items as oversaturation of standalone like uses when discussing this plan.
Thank you. All right. From the public, are there any questions, comments, or concerns? Hearing none. Are there any comments or concerns, questions from the Plan Commission?
Mr. President, one of the questions that I would have, one of the concerns that I have is that the back of this facility opens to the lake at Anson. Directly adjacent is apartments with their balconies that face the lake. My concern is summertime, active work going on at the shop, the overhead doors being open and that sound echoing across the lake and into the apartments. Just wonder if there's any concern by the developer in regards to the noise that this shop potentially can create.
Thanks. They actually have done some noise studies, and especially when they put the Belle Tire stores next to an interstate, they're never more noisy than the interstate itself. They're actually lower noise generators than an interstate. So hopefully that addresses that question.
Is there any consideration or potential for the bays to be relocated onto the west side, or is that not feasible with the way the land is parceled out? Or I guess just curious as to the decision for the bays to be on the east side versus the west side.
I don't know the ultimate decision of why the bays were faced where they were.
Okay. Okay.
That would be a question I could pose to Chris Enright.
Okay. Are there any other questions or comments from the Plan Commission?
I guess my only other question is there's a tire discounter here that we're about to talk about. There's one that's going on the vacant property right now at Tom Wood. Is there concern about oversaturation? Are you aware that there's lots of competition coming in a pretty small space?
I don't think they're concerned about the saturation. I do know that they have competitive pricing, and so they like to come in and be the most competitive with all the other competition. So,
Just curious, when was that market study performed to understand what the competition and all that, saying that this will be a viable business in this location? Do you know when that study was performed? Approximately 1 year ago is when they first approached Anson and talked about that as a potential place. Okay. So that could make sense, as there was only one discount tire store on record for coming into Whitestown at that time. Well, I guess two, including the car dealership, but this would make, including those, this would make, and if the other one, that'd make 5 total. But just so there's no concern from an oversaturation standpoint. Okay.
I don't think so, no.
Okay. All right. Are there any other comments or questions from the Plan Commission? All right. Thank you.
Brittany, how much concern is there about where the bays are facing from a staff perspective? I mean, is that something that...
It's a little bit different depending on the road that's fronting. So Belle Tire is facing Perryworth Road. It's in an interstate overlay district, whereas I don't want there to be any confusion, so I'll just say whereas the other one is Tire Discounter, which is facing a main thoroughfare, which is Whitestown Parkway. But that's just one thing that I think we would just wanted to be aware of, is make sure, depending on the thoroughfare, that the bays are facing. We do have like Valvoline, for example, is off of Whitestown Parkway as well, and I believe they do have some bays that face the parkway.
Brittany, can you move the mic a little closer? We can't hear you.
Okay.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is there's not any overt concerns about this particular
No.
location? Okay, and where they're facing at this point in time? Okay.
Okay. On that note, I'll go ahead and entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve docket PC 18-039-CP Bell Tire Concept Plan and docket PC 18-040-DP Bell Tire Development Plan.
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, docket PC 18039 and 040 Bell Tire Development Plan and Concept Plan approved. Thank you. All right, transitioning on to agenda items C and D. This is docket PC 18043 Concept Plan and docket PC 18044 Development Plan for tire discounters. Sorry, that's a mouthful. Go ahead, petitioner may come up.
Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Timothy Dwyer, Policeman Engineering, 4820 Glenway Avenue, Cincinnati, Ohio. Much like the petitioner that is before us, it's amazing how like our two businesses are. The main difference here is Tire Discounters is a much smaller building. It's only 7,800 square feet with 8 bays, 5 facing the front and 3 facing the rear. Completely real brick building all the way around. Typically we have which is called a store, and unfortunately with this site is kind of the remainder of the development. And from working with staff, what we had found out was we believe that this was going to be a KFC originally, and KFCs don't require a very large site. And from the plans that I had seen, they had cross connection over to the existing Taco Bell. I believe they're both owned by the same parent company. We had tried to work with the owner of the Taco Bell to do some type of cross connectivity with them, and they had rejected that plan. So what we're left with is a very small lot with a very small footprint, depending from the existing easements and setbacks and so forth. So working with staff, we were able to fit our building on here with one request of a variance of allowing us to have a 6.1 foot offset. I would call it on the north property line instead of a 10 foot on the north property line. Working with staff, and the main concern was with the fire department. The fire department mentioned that if we were to provide a fire hydrant in the front of the site, that they would be perfectly okay with having our site in the configuration that we have. So with that, hours are generally exactly the same, Monday through Friday from 7 to 7, reduced hours on Saturday, and closed on Sundays. So very family-friendly environment. They really please the younger crowd, and they welcome kids in their store, which is kind of opposite for a tire store. They have a great play area for children, and they really encourage their customers to go out into the area and dine and shop around. So they're really looking forward to the rest of the site developing and the site to the north to develop as well. So if you guys have any questions for me, I'd be more than happy to answer them for you when it comes time.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll go ahead and transition to the staff report.
Tire Discounters granted a special exception for a tire service and sales store by the Whitestone BZA. Staff is comfortable with the use in this area because this location is surrounded by like uses such as Big O Tires, Tomwood Toyota, and other automotive sales that repair uses in the area. Staff recommends Plan Commission take into consideration that staff is concerned about an oversaturation of like standalone uses, and staff recommends the Plan Commission ask the petitioner if they are willing to construct the store with no garage space facing Whitestone Parkway.
Thank you. Are there any comments or concerns from the public in regards to this agenda, or these agenda items? I'm sorry. All right, hearing none. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns from the Plan Commission? I think the one outstanding concern is in regards to the bays. Is there any possibility to move those to solely to the southern end, or?
So early on, we probably looked at this building 10 different ways, and unfortunately with the setbacks in the front, and especially the easements to the front and the setbacks to the rear, there's really no way to fit this building on. We had the possibility of maybe doing it if we could get cross connection, but unfortunately, we were denied that. So we're kind of left with the lot and really just staying in our bounds, unfortunately. So in addition to that, across the country, we've been faced with this question many times. And it just so happens that when you actually do turn this building perpendicular to the road, the bays are seen for a much longer distance and a much longer time. If the Big O Tire, I believe, is a building conversion that's going on right now. And you can actually see those bays further up and down Whitestown Parkway than you could ever see them if they're actually facing the parkway. So we run into this very often, but we've looked at this building enough. We've looked at the way that the bays face the road. Typically, you see the bays the least amount when they actually do face the parkway or face the main road.
Totally makes sense. Cool.
So it's kind of backwards thinking, but once we really broke it down, it does make sense that, it's very apparent with the Big O Tire.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Awesome. Are there any other?
Yeah, and I feel like at BZA, we talked about that this was a building that we know 100% you're going to make it, but in case it doesn't, for some reason, we felt like it was a building that could potentially be repurposed.
Yeah, at the BZA meeting, we worked really well with Tire Discounter, made sure they went above the regular standard in the UDO for general business. Their building, I believe, is a mix of brick and stone.
It's almost completely wrapped in brick.
Okay, so they went above the standard to make sure that
Yeah,
if,
that's what I
for
thought.
some reason, it could
Yeah.
have that use.
Tire Discounters is a company that's been in business for over 30 years. So this will be store, I think we're up to 125 now. Family-owned business. Mr. Wood owns the business himself. Very, very successful business. When we go to a new market, we rush the new market. So, for instance, we have Plainfield, Noblesville, Carmel, Beech Grove, Avon, Whitestown, and there's another one that I can't think of right now. But we usually try to open between 3 and 6 stores when we come into a market.
So there's no concern from an oversaturation standpoint. So like knowing Big O, knowing Toyota, knowing this one that we just passed, just want to, it didn't come to a surprise to you at all.
No, actually, when I called the representatives from Tire Discounters, I'm like, guys, did you know that there's 2 other stores on the docket? And I said, oh yeah, this is great. We welcome competition. So they like to say it's like, Burger King, McDonald's, and Steak and Shake. They all kind of move together and they all kind of flock together. And they actually, like the previous petitioner said, they encourage competition.
Cool.
So everyone needs tires, and when you drive down the road, you see that everyone, they're all doing pretty well. So.
Cool. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
All right. We'll go ahead and entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve docket PC 18-44-DP and docket PC 18-45-ZA.
Wrong one.
Vote.
43 and 44.
Docket PC 18-43-CP and docket PC 18-44-DP.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. Docket PC 18043 and 044, Tire Discounters Concept Plan Development Plan pass. Thank you.
I'll see if we can at least connect to the TV.
All right. Transitioning on to docket PC 18045, Trailside PUD zoning amendment. And just want to remind everyone that we have we have a total of 20-minute allotment for public questions, comments, or concerns. So just to be respectful of everyone's time, and then also giving the petitioner a chance to respond to any additional questions. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I can find out if we can try to at least connect to that back TV. Hey, Brian, do you want to hold on 1 second? I'll see if we can at least connect to the back TV.
Oh, that would be terrific. So you think that PowerPoint will show up that TV? I got my fingers crossed and toes and everything else.
You're more than welcome to start whenever,
Okay.
Mr. Petitioner.
Mr. President, members of the Planning Commission, good evening. My name is Brian Toohey. My address is 50 South Meridian. I represent Westport Homes this evening on this case, and thank you for your time this evening. We have a PowerPoint. I understand it may not be viewable, but it is, I've printed out, thank goodness, paper copies of it. And so if I may, I would like possibly to make my presentation using this pieces of paper here to explain this. So this is a case for a rezoning for a planned unit development for a residential subdivision. And it's on 189 acres, and the land is owned by the Smith family and Donald and Virginia Clark family. So it's north of the Legacy Core Center on 650 on the west side of the road. It's actually across the street from a active adult community, a much smaller community that was before you last year or this year that I presented. And so if you can visualize where the Big Four Trail crosses Main Street, it's just north of that intersection. And what they would propose to do would build a mix of single-family homes and cottage homes and townhomes. And the largest single component would be single-family homes, of which there would be about 275 as a maximum of those. And the density, the overall density of this development would be right at 3.14 homes per acre. As you go to page 6 on your materials that I handed out, this is a layout of the proposed residential subdivision. And thankfully this evening I did bring one exhibit, so it's just not me up here without to show you what we are proposing. But it's sort of where it is. Here's that Big Four Trail right here.
Brian, we need to have you near the microphone.
Brian, do you want to hold? Maybe. No?
Is that better? Yes. Okay, great. So this exhibit, here's 650 along here. Here's the Legacy Core area downtown, old downtown right here. Here's the Big Four Railroad right along here. So north up here, south down here, east and west. And what the developer would propose to do, members of the Planning Commission, is to have a mix of single-family homes up here, then what I'll call cottage homes, that's the name of the homes that which are in your materials right here, and then single-family here, and then townhomes in this area here. And the whole idea of this neighborhood is to have really 3 kinds of housing, ranging from traditional single-family homes that would cost up to $350,000, say, to, again, single-family homes, but on smaller lots for younger, new families, or maybe people that are downsizing from a traditional single-family home, but still want some separation. And then for-sale townhomes in this area for people that don't want any maintenance. They might want to leave town for the winter, or just don't want to worry about yards and things like that. And so the price range of these homes would run from about $200,000 for townhomes up to about $350,000 for single-family homes, all within the same community. And the community would be interconnected with sidewalks and walking trails, all of which would eventually connect down to this Big Four railroad trail. And I understand.
Sorry, Brian. I have got the TV set up
terrific.
in the back. It might, if you want to let me know when to change slide,
Okay.
Because it might disconnect and we'll try to reconnect it again. I'm not sure though, if they have a video, will they be able to hear audio or no?
We'll find out. We'll skip the video if they can't hear it.
Okay.
How's that? Oh, this is great, folks. So, not to turn my back to you, but just to... You're fine.
You're fine.
Here, Brian, I'm going to give you this microphone so that since you will have your back turned, that you can.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Oh yeah, this is much better. Okay, so here you can see the site at the 189 acres, and there's Hewitt Street. 650 Main Street is on the east side. Next slide, please, Brittany. This is a video that we took to sort of give you an overview, or we made to give you an overview of this development, and we'll play it here if we can. Maybe we can. What this video was an attempt to do, folks, was to show you the site, give you a feel for Trailside, the types of homes that we would build. Those are cottage homes, those are townhomes. Show the trail that we would connect into. We'd have some amenities like pool areas, playgrounds, boulevard entryways. Westport is building homes down on Indianapolis Road right now. These would be, the single-family homes would be very similar to those. The average sales price. This is a testimonial from a business owner in Whitestown. I believe that's the woman who runs the LA Cafe. There is a testimonial from a gentleman who runs the Pizza King in the Legacy Core area. That's that gentleman there. And there's also a testimonial from a gentleman who runs a market in that area. I think it's called Sonny's Market. I believe the people that run the Moontown Brewery have also are in favor of this. Yeah, the Friendly Market. That's the gentleman right there. So, Brittany, maybe we'd jump to the next slide, please. The idea of the video was to give the Plan Commission sort of an overview of where this would fit in the area. And then I'll jump to, okay, so now this is a photograph of the site looking along Hewitt Street. And the next slide, please. There's the photograph of the Big Four Trail, which runs right along our southern border. Next slide, please. So that's the layout. Again, the single-family areas would be up at the top and into the center of the site. The cottage homes would be on the east side of the site, and then the townhomes would border the Big Four Trail. We would have a pool and amenity area here. We would have ponds and walking trails that are shown throughout here, and I've got another exhibit that'll show these better. The site would be set off, that is set back from 650, and have a perimeter buffer all the way around it of at least 30 feet in width. So that's shown on that exhibit there. Next slide, please, Brittany. So the types of homes we build, and that's where I was going. Very similar in the single family to what we're building up off of Indianapolis Road. And these homes would range in size from a one-story ranch of perhaps like about 1,400 square feet to a two-story home of almost 3,500 square feet. And those homes, as I said, would be in the high $200,000 range into the mid-300s. If it works out as it has in the Westwood subdivision, that's the one they're building on Indianapolis Road, their average sales price right now is right at $360,000. It's just a tick below at $359,000 and some change. And that's been a very successful subdivision. The And so these homes would be very similar. They would have 2-car garages and as a minimum. Some of them would have 3-car garages, as shown in these photographs. They would have concrete driveways. Again, these are pictures of those homes. Some of those were actually taken in that neighborhood that I was speaking of. Next slide, please. Again, photographs of the types of single-family homes that we would propose to build. Next slide, please. Again, showing the kind of homes with the amenities. Now, the cottage homes. The cottage homes would be sort of a new product in this area, but when you think about the homes that are in the old Legacy Core area, and I've got some pictures of them, they're very similar to these homes. They're smaller homes. Some of them are on smaller lots, and yet these are very nice homes. They range in size of 1 stories from 1,200 square feet to 1,800 square feet, and in 2 stories from 1,900 to 2,800 square feet. But they're for folks that may not want those larger homes that we just saw. They would all have 2-car garages and concrete driveways, and they would be priced from the mid-200s up into the high $200,000. And here's some examples of those, which Brittany just ran through. So the next style home would be townhomes. And the townhomes would range from the 190s to low 200s up into the mid 200s, and we think they will average in the $225,000 to $250,000 range. These also would all have 2-car attached garages, and they would be anywhere from around 1,100 to 1,200 square feet to almost 2,300 square feet. And these would be for folks that want no maintenance kind of living. They can turn the key and leave the home. And so overall, we would expect our average price range for all the homes blended together to approach the very high 200s to almost $300,000. And the only reason I mention that is that people have asked, well, how does that compare? Will that have some adverse effect on values? And our research indicates that the average sales